This right here is what we will now be seeing in Philly. When the defense doubles, let's say this is Tyrese Maxey, and they forget who else is on the floor, well, one pass to LeBron sets up everything. And now with a no-look, he can find LaRavia, who we'll say is Jaylen Brown cutting back door, and now 2 points are added to the board. See, not only do you get a guy who can break the defense with his craftiness in Tyrese Maxey,
Turnover number 12, and Maxey throws it down with the left hand.
A guy who can just make way for himself in Jaylen Brown.
Lakers didn't have much of a chance.
And Jaylen Brown.
Well, now you get LeBron James, who can quite literally see everything on the floor. Now listen, Joel is added into this mix and is majorly skilled, but if we're being honest, it's unpredictable how much we'll see from him in the regular season. So when you look at Maxey, who put up 28 points a night last season, and Jaylen Brown, who put up 28 points a game as well, those are two guys who had to lead their teams every single night. Scoring was never an issue for them. The first major problem was the secondary start for Maxey and for Jaylen Brown since Jason Tatum was injured. In today's video brought to you by PrizePicks, that got solved with pairing the two together, but then there was one more problem to be solved, and that was how this offense was going to function as far as who was looked at to be the playmaker. Well, with LeBron James landing in Philly, that changes everything, and not in the way that most people would think. This isn't 25 points a night LeBron trying to also get his own. This is a version of LeBron who told us exactly what he wants and is making one last move to get it. At this stage and position, LeBron doesn't need to go out there and dominate in the scoring department. He already has two bona fide bucket getters. James is a guy who can pick apart the defense with his eyes before he even looks to score, and that's the mission he will be executing in Philly. Now, like we stated, scoring for Maxey and Brown was never the issue. The issue is that the defense could load up on them and make it hard for them to even get to their spots. With LeBron on the team, he opens up many more angles and takes that pressure off you always creating. Even though he's in his 40s, you'll still see defenses shrink the floor to try and close off his drives, but with that strength of his, he's able to move one defender out the way to then make the next one fully commit to him, and then a sharp pass to the outside becomes easy money for LaRavia. The gravity of LeBron is what will alter things on the floor significantly, as all you need is for one defender to help over to start that chain reaction of the defense shifting. Once that happens, it's up to K-Love to be ready to guard both defenders on the outside, and if he's not ready for that cut to happen, best believe LeBron is. See, you have to remember that LeBron can score in any way he wants when he has the ball, and it gets even worse for the defense when he has a mismatch. So they will be quick to send over the help to hopefully stop LeBron, but when you have elite vision equipped, all the defense really does is give up an easier bucket in close. Trust me, it's already bad enough that you have to worry about other guys scoring in bunches, but now with LeBron on your team, you can use him as your glue guy who pulls defenders towards him off these pick and rolls, and with this now going to be Joel on the backside, this is when things get ugly for the opposing team. Yeah, anytime you just leave defenders blindly, LeBron will make you pay for it, and it's in this attention here that elevates Philly to a completely new level. James is wanting to compete at the highest level, so in those moments where the break can be pushed, he'll do so. And at this age, it's not best that he crashes into defenders, so a slick dime in the open floor to Maxey in these situations will be available. When you look at the way LeBron was able to operate next to Doncic, you notice immediately that he can read the floor in a flash off a double team, as when Luka sends it over to James, there's an open lane to attack. But here's the thing, if this is the 76ers, you're going to have Maxey attracting the double, Embiid setting the screen pulling the big man out the paint due to his shooting ability, and then right here, you're going to have Jaylen Brown cutting back door to receive the alley-oop connection. Setups like this allow for guys to flow into their game much easier and make it more complicated for teams to shut the water off for the stars. Due to LeBron being on the floor and acting as a primary hub, you'll have defenders be more aware of him on the floor, which can lead to them falling a step behind on the play, and that's when Maxey will shoot right past him to receive the ball to go score. Listen, we all know Maxey to be this electrifying guard who can score in many ways that leave us simply amazed. And now with LeBron on the team, he has another guy he can work off of to make the floor open up for him even more. Time and time again, you'll see Maxey go to a two-man game with Embiid while having a side cleared out to operate. This now just won't be available with Joel. James will also be able to swap places with Embiid at times and set up Maxey to get clean looks. I mean, look at LeBron here. When Marcus Smart sent it away to then cut down the middle of the floor off the screen, all it takes is the defense being one step out of position, and now they're watching the ball go through the basket before they can even blink. Pair this quick decision making of LeBron's with Tyrese's speed, and now you have a recipe to break the defense completely. When watching Maxey, you quickly realize that all it takes is the defense having a slight form of miscommunication, causing them to let him turn the corner, and once he does, well, it's a done deal. Maxey is way too fast to allow him to have open angles on the floor, but now with so many guys who deserve ultimate attention from the defense, Tyrese will be able to exploit those gaps over and over again. If they run these high ball screens and all Maxey has to do is beat the big who's on the switch, hey, that's easy money. And if they just decide to space the floor completely and let him go to work, well, Maxey is the perfect guy to run this type of action for. Not only does this alleviate pressure off Tyrese and get him better driving angles, as this also can open the floor for Jaylen Brown so he doesn't have to make tough shots consistently. Yeah, we all know JB is a dog, but just imagine if he doesn't have to get in that doghouse to get buckets and instead he can work more cleanly. This right here would be something major, and I'm going to show you how Brown opens that up for him, but first, we have to hear a word from our sponsor. If you know you can play responsibly and have the means to do so, PrizePicks is the #1 app for sports picks. As we all know, the NBA season is over, but the action never stops for all sports lovers with PrizePicks. When you go to PrizePicks, you'll see many different sports to choose from, along with many different categories to select picks. It's pretty easy. All you do is pick more on a player's stats or less and it puts them in your lineup. And if you want, PrizePicks now offers team picks where you either pick the winner, spread, or total and simply lock it in. Here's how simple it is to add picks for a lineup. For example, Aaliyah Boston for more than 14 points? Yeah, let's lock that in. Kelsey Mitchell for more than 21 points? Yeah, let's get that as well. And then after going through and locking in more picks, I can finalize my lineup, sit back, and let the magic happen. And the greatest part about this is that PrizePicks is available in over 40 states, including California, Florida, Texas. And if you sign up for PrizePicks with code HMA, play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. That's right, PrizePicks just switched up their offer, so there's no better time to join than now. So lock in, win that lineup, and that's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 lineup. So either download the app or click the link in my description and let me hear your picks. Now like I said, Jaylen Brown benefits off this just as much as Maxey. He may not be the speed demon who can attack the gaps in a flash, but he'll still take advantage in his own way. With LeBron being able to play make for the team, we will see times where the pick and roll is ran for him at the top of the key, and depending on which way he goes, it opens up different options. Since he decided to go left off the screen, he could go with an immediate pass to the wing since the help is far over, but this will be predictable. So what LeBron is actually looking for is what this backline defender is going to do. And since they get a step in the paint to hopefully stop Ayton on the roll, that's exactly when LeBron zips it to the corner to make you pay for that. Things like that will be perfect for Brown, as he can choose to either step right into his shot when the defense doesn't step up on him, or he can catch it deep in that corner, understand that he has the advantage with the big rushing out to him, so he stays patient, attacks the closeout, and converts a tough bucket inside. See, just like Maxey, Brown can capitalize on broken defensive possessions. And it's not that he has to do so, because we've seen time and time again where Brown doesn't mind making the defense bend to his will and creating on his own. This here is exciting, and is a side of Jaylen Brown you can get at any moment when he locks in. But the side of Jaylen Brown we barely get to see is the one working off ball with an actual playmaker setting him up. The way LeBron sees the court is unlike most players in the league, and even at his age, he sees things developing on the court quicker than younger guys with sharper reaction skills. This is where IQ and that longevity come into play. James has seen every defensive scheme known to man, so once there's a slip up, he's right on top of it. That right there can already leave a defense helpless, as it will lead to easy buckets for multiple guys on this team. And then when you factor in that Jaylen Brown can go out there and take on multiple defenders and still get a bucket, yeah, that's when things are just overwhelming. When teams get scored on, it can do a couple different things based on how the points came. If it's a breakdown, then that's an easy fix. If the offense runs a perfect play, it's kind of like a gotcha moment. But when you play very solid defense and the guy you're guarding still scores, this is when things get demoralizing for opposing teams. That right there is the skill factor that Jaylen Brown brings to Philly. Usually there's a problem when you pair so many players who affect the game greatly together, but the holes are seeming to be plugged. Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey both led the team in ways we didn't see coming last season, and we also seen LeBron be the third option a lot of the time in LA, which was something we weren't used to seeing either. Walking into this season with 3 guys on the team who all have the same goal in mind and can work off each other greatly is simply amazing. And then when you add in Joel Embiid, who can outright dominate a game, this makes the Philadelphia 76ers one of the scariest teams in the East. If you made it this far, make sure you drop a like and subscribe so you can help me get in the algorithm and you don't miss any videos. Also, you have unlocked something special, and that is the LeBron James last ride card on my website to use in your rec lineup. All you have to do is head over to hoopmasteryvo.com, navigate to the rec, and under YouTube codes, type in LeBron All or Nothing, and you will be granted the card in your locker to then use in your lineup for a season, versus me, or versus any member on the site. I appreciate you all. There's only 10 redemptions, so I hope to see you all over there and play you in the game.